G'day guys, welcome back to B.T.S. So last week we touched on some superhero style wire work. This week we thought we'd touch on some horror movie style wire work. So this here is Bobby D. Cerise, producer, writer, stunt coordinator, all the good stuff. So Bobby, a little bit about yourself. How long have you been doing this?
So stunt-wise, I've been doing that for about 15 years, coordinating about 5 or 6, and the same for stunt rigging.
Oof, very nice. So should we break down this little cinematic?
Let's do it. First, let's introduce our Damien. This is Meg.
She also played the little girl in the video.
Ha! So for Meg's gag, we used what's known as a V-pick. So let's break that down.
All right, so Bobby, you said V-pick. What does that mean?
So we have 2 points up in the ceiling, and they come down into a V, so then it allows us to have 1 on each side.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, I noticed that she did a jump, a spin, and a land. How did you pull that off in the...
So we were able to have her spin mid-air by taking the points, and we wrapped her in the lines. So once we gave a pull, she lifted, the lines untwisted, and allowed her to land the opposite direction that she started.
That's awesome. Super cool stuff, Bobby. Now, I noticed that in the video, Meg was actually tormenting somebody. Do we want to break those gags down too?
You know I do.
Perfect. All right, Bobby, take it away.
Hey guys, so this is Jared Clark, and he was the one that did the dead man for us. So what we did for that is we've already gone over, these are the climbing suture 52 picks. We put a shackle up in the top right at this X mark, right? This allows him that when he's running full speed and it stops him, not too high so that he doesn't fall into his neck, not too low so it doesn't fold him at the waist, right? We connected him up with a leader, and this leader was about 15 feet, right? So what we do is we put a fid at the end of this, and there's one at the other end. Then we anchored it to the ground. So, in order to pull off that dead man, this is the equipment that we use. We talked about the fid end, which is the eyelet. This end goes to what we call a Petzl anchor. Now, in order to use this Petzl anchor, we use a 4-inch bolt, concrete anchor, and we used this guy, which is called a quick link. So what we do is we drill a hole into the ground, then we anchor this onto that, then our quick link goes on, and then our fid goes on to the quick link, and that's what we call a dead man. So the other gag that he did for us was a drag. So what we did was we had set our lighting so that there was a nice pocket of shadow, right? Then this little specialty item is called a leg cuff from Climbing Sutra. So Jared put this around his left ankle. So once we had Jared all rigged up, he had a cue to fall, and then our guys pulled him out of frame and into the shadows.
Super informative, Bobby. So correct me if I'm wrong. Now we've learned about a V-pick, a dead man, and an ankle drag.
Correct.
That is so cool. And what happens when, after you do all your safety, your timing calls and all the stuff that Lewis talked about last week, how's that start looking?
Well, once we get everything dialed, then it looks a little something like this.
Well, guys, thanks for tuning in for another episode of BTS. Now you know a little more behind the stunts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm gonna get back to fixing these lights because these bloody things never work.
That's a wrap.